Tiffany about the lack of receipts and credit card statements. If you guys have heard about Tiffany, you know she's the mayor of Dalton, Illinois, and she's been accused of a lot of unsavory behaviors, okay? And hiding the financial state of the village is on the top of the list. And I thought a great way to start off the video would be by letting Tiffany explain to the residents some of the wonderful things she does. Wonderful things she does. Because it's kind of like she's playing the wizard from the Wizard of Oz, right? Don't look behind the curtain. Pay no attention to the woman behind the curtain. That seems like what's going on a lot with her. All right, let's go ahead and get into it.
Township Talk is follows that from January 24th. If there's anything you want to know about the Resource Center at Thornton Township, which Trustee Stan Brown just read to you, a lot of people don't know that I do so much more than what you see in headlines. For instance, we do pay your bills. So if you're struggling, you need help with your light, your gas, your water. He even just stated burial assistance because people are dying left to right. And what I mean by that is you here today, gone today. It ain't here today, gone tomorrow. So majority of the time when you guys come to me, it's too late. You guys wish you would have made it right with your loved one, said you're sorry.
Okay, first of all, she's highlighting Thornton Township services, and she's in Dalton right now. Does she understand where she is right now? I don't think she really cares. Also, she seems to be taking credit for programs that sound like they already existed before she got there. But of course, you know, Tiffany, being the narcissist that she is, that's just my opinion, my assumption. Yeah. She's gonna find anything that she can take credit for. All right. Anything she can slap her name on, her face on to make herself look better and more appealing to the residents. She's always in campaign mode. That's what I feel. And that's what I see. I mean, that explains all the billboards, all the flyers. I mean, her name and her face is like everywhere in Thornton Township, you guys. As you guys can see as I'm talking, I'm just going to put up some images of just the ridiculousness of it all, of her PR. And I talked about that in one of my previous videos about how much money she spends on PR over there in Thornton Township versus what was actually budgeted for the PR. Yeah, so if you guys want to check that video out, I will leave the link for it in the description. And I also did, you know, a comparison in that video of her PR compared to the previous mayor's PR. And it's a big difference. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and get back to this board meeting. And back to Tiffany, you know, telling us how great of a person she is and giving us a little bit of advice. All right, let's get to it.
With our servers designed for AI, you can revolutionize the way you do business. Power your workloads and empower innovation at any scale. We meet you where you are and take you where you want to go.
Biden administration to strengthen America's climate resilience. Officials say 80 projects across 37 states are receiving this money to help ground transportation infrastructure hold up better against extreme weather. Overall, the Biden administration has secured more than $50 billion from the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law and Inflation Reduction Act to help advance localized climate strategies.
Joining us from Washington is White House National Climate Advisor Ali Zaidi. Ali, what was the process in determining how funds are allocated out and how many more rounds of grants can we expect to see?
You know, this is such an exciting program secured for the first time as part of the president's bipartisan infrastructure law. It's a competitive program, so communities come together, they reach out for this funding, and it's really, I think, brought together really creative proposals, smart ways to improve resilience to these.
All I'm saying to you is just start now. It shouldn't be that it turned to a new year for you to make something right. Just make it right because you found in your heart to do something better than what you used to do. It starts with us. It's a shame that it's black on black crime. I'm already got a lot of racial stuff that come my way, but it's a shame when I got to fight my own people. It's like, dang, every night I got to fight to prove my love.
So, you guys, this meeting was held on January
on the agenda, it says discussion and approval. So please don't come at me like I can't read. It says discussion and approval, meaning that if it's discussed and we agree, we would be voting on it tonight. So please don't do that, Mayor.
Yes.
All right, coming in hot because we know Trustee Kiana Belcher is not going to let Tiffany Henyard slide. So, you guys, if you're new here and if you're new to this whole Dalton situation, just a quick recap. Tiffany Henyard is the mayor of Dalton, Illinois. She also serves as a supervisor in Thornton Township. She is a self proclaimed super mayor, people's mayor, and the most powerful woman in the Southland of Chicago. Let her tell it. All right, so we are going to be looking at a couple of board meetings today, and we're going to be looking at the discrepancies and what Tiffany Henyard has to say as it relates to, like she likes to say, the trustees coming to the meeting, not being prepared to vote on things. And the trustees, on the other hand, are saying, hey, you're not giving us the stuff in time. And your staff and administration, they're not communicating with us like they should be. So let's go ahead and get into it, you guys.
Next on the agenda is approvals. Discussion and approval of ordinance 22- adopting the 2022-2023 annual appropriation ordinance budget. Is there a motion to discuss? It's been motion and second for discussion. Discussion.
Question or my ask will be, last week Thursday I did email a request regarding some of the personnel lines that are within the budget, that those be expounded on kind of like they were last year. My suggestion is that we push this into a finance committee meeting until we can get further discussion on these items. Thank you.
Okay. So if you got questions, this is the CAL meeting. This is discussion. So I don't see why everybody keep want to push things further back. You can ask your questions now. The staff is here. They can answer any questions that the board may have. I know that this was on agenda 2 weeks ago, and we stopped and did not have a actual hearing. So this is the hearing that we're having today to talk about the budget. Attorney, just correct me, we did have a hearing, but it went nowhere. So this is the second attempt of a hearing. So if the board members have any discussion regarding any of the items, please ask your questions.
Oh my goodness. So you guys, as you can see, she cannot decide what meeting she's at. First it's a CAL meeting, which means a committee of the whole. Then it's a discussion. Then it's a hearing to talk about the budget. The attorney chimes in and corrects her and says that they did have a hearing, but it went nowhere. So this is a second attempt at a hearing. I mean, this double talk and this glossing over things and trying to rush such a large amount of money, which we will get to in just a little bit. They're going to mention how much money is in this budget that Tiffany is just trying to pass, without any real discussion. It's no wonder why the trustees don't trust her. This type of attitude about handling the taxpayers' money, it's what's building this whole culture of mistrust, not only from the trustees, but also from the residents. So let's go ahead and continue watching.
Go ahead, trustee.
Okay, you just said this was a committee of the whole meeting. I thought it was a special meeting because we're voting on items. Also, the email that did go out the trustees' house is in reference to the elaboration of the budget, because it's all summarized and clumped together versus being itemized as it was never responded to.
And so, you guys, that's one thing Tiffany is always telling them. You can reach out to me. And why ain't nobody call my phone? Send me an email. Reach out to the department heads. She's always saying these things. But the trustees are saying, hey, we reached out. We sent emails. Either they're dragging their feet. They just haven't responded. What you also hear Trustee Belcher say, which is kind of alarming, is that there were things in the budget that were clumped together. Okay, so that means they just put a bunch of stuff in there and it's not detailing what those things were inside that whole lump sum. That's another reason why the trustees are kind of dragging their feet on this, because you don't want to vote on something that you really don't know what you're voting on. It's just common sense, right? Yeah, let's go ahead and move on.
There are some concerns on this budget. Once again, we got it on May 2nd, I believe, at 3:26. You wanted us to talk about it and discuss it at a public hearing for the residents. The residents hadn't even been eligible to look at it because we had just got it a couple of hours before the meeting. And then you keep saying contact the department heads for them to get back to us with questions, but nobody, either they're dragging their feet or not getting to us. At this moment right now, I am uncomfortable to even attempt to approve this budget because of what I've seen over the last 10 months has put me into a scare of where we would be by December at the rate that things are going. So I am not comfortable at all voting on this budget tonight.
Okay, so there we have Trustee Belcher's opinion on the budget. So she's like, no, I'm not comfortable with it because of all the spending that's been going on. So she's being very cautious. So let's go ahead and continue.
So for the record, we did not ask for a vote. We asked for a discussion. So now, if everybody's up here paying attention, it is discussion to talk about your concerns as a trustee.
See, there go Tiffany getting all smart alecky like seriously. It's always disrespectful. There's just no need. There's really no need. First of all, she said it's up for discussion and approval. In order to approve something, it has to be voted on, right? But that's Tiffany. She's going to go ahead, twist the words up. So she feels like she's the one in the right and she's the one that always has to correct and educate others. So let's do a quick rewind and see what she said in the beginning about this budget.
Next on the agenda is approvals. Discussion and approval of ordinance 22- adopting the 2022-2023 annual appropriation ordinance budget.
So yeah, she said discussion and approval. Yeah. So contradictory all the time, left and right, everywhere you go, up and down. I mean, I know that has to be frustrating for the trustees who have to be there and endure this in person. I am just watching and it's a little frustrating for me because I can't stand when someone doesn't admit to wrongdoing and then they continue to do it and then they're trying to, at the same time, point the finger at you like you're doing something wrong. That's why Kiana puts her in her place. Let's go ahead and watch.
Okay, just a rebuttal. On the agenda, it says discussion and approval. So please don't come at me like I can't read. It says discussion and approval, meaning that if it's discussed and we agree, we would be voting on it tonight. So please don't do that, Mayor.
Yes.
Okay, so trustee, if you read, you just made a, how do I say this to you so you can get it right and put it in layman's term. Put it in layman's term.
You see, this is her attempt to demean someone and at the same time try to sound intelligent. And that's a sure sign that the person who's doing this is not very intelligent. She's talking about, how do I explain this in a way what? Put it in layman's terms? Do you even know what that means? I don't think she knows what that means. She's just throwing out things, looking up in the back of her head. How can I say this to try to make her look stupid and make myself sound sophisticated and educated? That's what she's thinking. If she's even thinking that, I don't even know if she knows the word sophisticated. You know, you guys, I really don't like to rag on people for their obvious lack of intelligence, but Tiffany Henyard makes it really hard not to comment when she's constantly berating people as if they're the ones who lack intelligence. But yeah, it's crazy and it's kind of funny at the same time because she's really like trying to school somebody right now. But you know, if you've been alive long enough and you've paid attention to people and how they act, you know that's just deflection. And deflection is just attacking or blaming another person rather than accepting criticism or blame for your own actions. In this case, Tiffany Henyard is attacking Kiana Belcher, basically insinuating that she is the stupid one. Basically saying that she is uneducated instead of taking the responsibility that she just misspoke and contradicted herself earlier in this meeting. So let's go ahead and move on.
You just made a motion to discuss only. So that means we're doing what? Discussing only. That means there's not a motion on the floor for approval.
That's
so
not.
What I'm asking again, instead of us going over words, let's talk about the budget. The budget right now, as it stands, is up for discussion for the Board of Trustees to discuss whatever their concerns are as a whole.
So obviously you don't have any discussion. So moving on.
Of course, she doesn't want to go over words because she doesn't want to get caught up in her own words. She doesn't want to get called out on her contradictions and what she just said from what she said earlier. No, she don't want to hear all that, right? Whenever it comes to someone speaking up and correcting her, she does not want to hear it. But she wants everyone to listen when she goes on her 30-minute long rant grandstanding about, her educating people and everything she did for the village. Okay, you guys, let's go ahead and get back to the board meeting because another trustee has something to say.
No,
Anybody else?
I have something to say.
Okay, go ahead.
It's discussion and approval. Last year, we went through every budget item line by line, which takes hours. We cannot pass this without it being public. It's not on the website. This is $26 million of village finances, taxpayers' money that we can't just brush off like it's something easy. All we're asking is to take the time like we did last year. The first year we passed the budget, we sat down right here with the village administrator right there and went through every line with the finance director. When you were a trustee, we would have to present the budget to the board. It wasn't on a meeting like this. It would be one meeting for the budget, and you went through every line. We're not doing that now.
Okay, so that's what Trustee Ed Steves had to say. Let's go ahead and hear it from another trustee, Brittany Norwood.
We did the same thing last year. Last year, you all brought it to us, but you didn't bring it to a finance committee meeting. You didn't want to discuss it with the people, and we denied it. We said to you all then, hey, we are not approving this budget unless we go over it with the people, the residents. After you all decided, after we We denied it. You all decided to let it go to a finance committee meeting. We approved it after everyone understood exactly what we approved. We're just saying, let's do the same thing this year. Take it to a finance committee meeting so it's all detailed and go forward with approving it. That's it. So I just want to make it clear there's no argument. There's just a discussion on the seriousness of spending $26 million of the taxpayers' money. I don't think it's just something that we should rush. We should just do it the right way.
So what it sounds like is last year they were being rushed into trying to pass a budget that they still had questions on. It wasn't completely transparent on some of the things they were voting on. So they were able to take it to the finance committee meeting. And then they ended up passing it because they were able to see what was really going on. It sounds like the mayor is trying to do the same thing. She's trying to rush past it, just trying to get them to just vote blindly, which is something she never would have done as a trustee, you guys. Let's go ahead and take a trip back in time and look at trustee Tiffany Henyard and her thoroughness of the budget, of the line items she had questions about. Let's just go ahead and have a little look-ski at how she would handle these certain situations with the previous mayor and his administration.
Took it down to 25,000.
Why so low?
Well, you only spent 7750 the year prior.
Well, I understand that, but you already know my issue. Everybody do trees. So I prefer it to stay where it's at. I understand we're doing cuts, but a lot of residents complain about getting their tree trimmed or tree cut down. So I think that budget amount should stay where it's at so we can increase that.
So as you can see, she knows how to act civil, okay, when she wants to. And they used to have these finance committee meetings where she would attend and she would go over the budget line by line. But it seems now that she's mayor, she's totally forgotten about that. And the privilege she used to have as far as going into the budget and getting answers from the department heads right there on the spot about her concerns of the budget. Let's go ahead and watch a little bit more.
Well, can we increase that line? I know that don't sound right because I know we're doing budget cuts.
That falls in your part.
Well, my vote is to increase that line. I know you dropped it to 10. I know we do need it. I get a ton of complaints about it, which you know. I hit your email up, your phone up. So we need to increase tree cut. I'm not saying to add to it. I'm saying he cut his budget too much. I get calls left or right about cutting down a tree or trimming it, either or. So all I'm saying is that he needs to increase it more. He cut it too much. That's what I'm saying.
For the tree trimming, it was reduced from 50,000 to 10,000. That was not something that Matt and myself did. That was actually a recommendation of Mr. Kemp. That's his amended budget.
You know, it's a definite no for me.
So
no. Definitely no. I don't listen to Mr. Kemp, but you do know that you run our day-to-day operations. I wish the board would respect that. They should ask you your opinion. And when you give your opinion, it should be noted. And we should all come to one agreement with that. I think it should be half, 25,000 for tree trim.
I have 25. So if you look in column O, 221,
I see it.
I cut it from 50 to 25.
Well, I agree with that.
So as a trustee, she openly went against, some of the administration that she didn't agree with. And she had that right to do that within the board meetings. She was able to haggle with the budget, go back and forth, take down some items that she didn't agree with, lower them, higher them, whatever the case may be. There was transparency there, okay? And the mayor allowed them to have, their meetings. And he wouldn't go back and talk a bunch of mess like she does continuously at these board meetings to their faces, disrespecting them. So you guys, this is just a hypocrisy that it's so easy to find in these board meetings from when she was a trustee to now that she's the mayor, when she just totally glosses over all the rules and regulations that she would demand, okay, of the previous mayor and his administration. So she really can't be surprised when the foundation she laid down is the same one the current trustees are now standing on, because they are holding her to the same standards she held the previous mayor and his administration to. So let's go ahead and hear from Trustee Ed Steves again.
Let's do that again. We've done that for the past 8 years. When we were a trustee, we would have to present the budget to the board. It wasn't on a meeting like this. It would be one meeting for the budget, and you went through every line. We're not doing that now. We're not saying we're against the budget. We're just saying be transparent with it.
And what do you think her response to that is?
So, as relates to us doing it the right way, I stand on transparency. I've done that for 8 years as a trustee, and now in my 1 year as mayor, I've done transparency as well. So when it comes to the budget items, you guys have time to look it over and come to a meeting and be adults about it and see the budget for what it is and ask the questions. You saying it to scare the public, I'm trying to word it the right way. You're trying to scare the public into, oh, we got one night to go over this. If you guys wanted to have a committee meeting or any other type of meeting, you could have called me. Don't get here at this actual meeting and act as though someone's trying to push something down your throat. All I'm asking, if you had 20 questions, why didn't you submit 20 questions to any other department head so they could answer the questions that you needed answered?
She's always accusing them of not reaching out to the department heads. When Jason House said that he did, he reached out to Keith. And this next clip I'm going to show you guys is kind of interesting because it has been said that Keith, the thief Freeman, which is a nickname he's earned because of bankruptcy, indictment, and everything. So it's a hot mess. We'll go into that into another video. It said that he has a background in IT. And there's also been accusations that he would go into the emails on the back end, change things up, switch things, those are accusations. But let's go ahead and look at this clip of something he did at one of the board meetings that showed his dishonesty. All right. And for him to be the village administrator, this says a lot. Let's watch this.
Can I be recognized?
Go ahead.
First off, for clarity and transparency, when you keep saying that everything you got, we got, Keith Freeman just went in his office and sent this to us when we just said something about it at, what time is it? 7 something, 8 o'clock at night. We did not have the corporate, credit card bills. We have not had the credit card bills since March when we got it. The finance director sits here every meeting and says absolutely nothing. I don't understand why we have to wait till Sunday to Monday, 2 hours before the meeting to get stuff that you want us to vote on.
Did you guys hear that? So they're in the middle of a board meeting, and Tiffany's saying that they should have got something already. But meanwhile, Keith sneaks his little self in the back and emails it to them during the meeting. Probably wasn't counting on Kiana to call him out, but you guys know Kiana by now. If you don't, you do now. She's going to call him out. She's going to call whoever out on whatever they're doing wrong, and she's going to set the record straight. Okay? It's just, you're not getting away with it if she knows about it. All right? Yeah, I just thought that was crazy. Like, the gall, right? Just on another level of corruption. Just doing something little like that, just so blatantly, and kind of like, I dare you to call me out. That's what you're thinking. Or he's thinking like, ain't nobody gonna say nothing. They're just gonna continue arguing about whatever they argue about. I'm sure he wasn't counting on her calling him out. I know that much, but she did. And I applaud her for that. I'm glad she did, because, it gave us kind of more of an inside view of what they have to deal with on a daily with Tiffany Henyard and her administration not being forthcoming, not being transparent, right? So you guys, I'm going to leave you with that. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to leave it a like. And if you're new here, subscribe. I'll see you next time.